again to the Slow Burn Pro Wrestling Podcast, where all professional wrestling storylines live. As always, I am your host, Matt Brannon, bringing you all of professional wrestling's news, notes, rumors, innuendos, and whatever the hell else you can come up with. And let's just go ahead and call it what it is, guys. We have a hell of a weekend. It's just getting ready to snart. What the fuck is snart? It's just getting ready to snart, I guess, but it might start as well. But regardless, we got SmackDown tonight. We got Elimination Chamber tomorrow. I can't freaking wait. It's going to be so damn good. And then we also got Collision tomorrow. So huge night. By the way, Collision is bulking up their card, and I'll go over that a little bit. I don't think it's going to matter as far as what we are competing against. But I promise you, the Slow Burn will be watching both. All right, we will be having it all. So a lot of stuff to go over today. Obviously, I want to preview SmackDown. Not a lot of info is out yet on SmackDown, which is kind of weird. But I'm going to give you what I have and maybe a couple ideas. I am not going to do Elimination Chamber predictions until tomorrow. All right, we are going to dedicate our SmackDown recap and Elimination Chamber and Collision previews. I am also going to be doing my normal PLE predictions, right? So I'll be predicting Elimination Chamber, and we'll see. You might be a little surprised at where my head is at. Of course, after tonight's SmackDown, my head might change a little bit, so we'll have to see what all happens. But, guys, let's get started today talking a little bit about AEW Dynamite from Wednesday night. I'm going to tell you, it was a hell of a show. I forgot to grade it, so I'm going to grade it right now because I know what I wanted to put on it. But hell of a show Wednesday night. Yes, it had ups. Yes, it had downs. But I'm going to go ahead and say a lot more ups than downs in this show. I thought there was a lot of joint combinations here where we really progress storylines. Even some stuff where maybe at the beginning I was like, what the fuck are they doing? And then it turned out to be decent. Well, not just decent, some of it was excellent. And I just think that AEW is really latching on to some really good stuff right now. Now, again, not everything is perfect, but we're getting better and better. Whoever's running the creative, whoever is doing the Hangman Adam Page MJF stuff right now, like, I just tip of the hat to you, sir or ma'am. Hell of a job you're doing right there. But speaking of which, Hangman, he opens the show. I loved the way they opened the damn show. All right, Hangman's driving in, he's in the back, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna kick somebody's ass. They tell him he's got a match. He literally comes from driving his truck to the arena, walking through the backstage area, out down the ramp, or through Gorilla, down the ramp to the ring to fight Aaron Solo. Squash match, right? And it was so awesome because it was just like ready to fight. I'm here. Oh, you need me to beat the piss out of somebody? All right, no problem. But my favorite part of it all, and this is the stuff I'm talking to you guys about, storyline, storytelling, okay? Hangman goes over to the side. He takes his shirt off, whatever. He throws it down to the side, and he gets ready to go to the middle of the ring. And then he realizes, oh, wait a second. No. And he walks back to the corner and takes his wallet and keys out of his pocket, right? The show, I did just get here. I didn't know I had a match. I came looking for MJF, but I got a match. All right, let me kick this dude's ass real fast. And that's exactly what happened. Hangman Adam Page has now latched onto this crazy character, right? This insane, not going to take any shit off of any man character, and pure ass kicker, cowboy shit. And he's grown with it, and now it's baby faced. Like, yeah, you put him up against Swerve with this gimmick and it struggled. You put him up against MJF back to doing his great heel work. It is freaking working. And I want to say this. I am a man that can admit when I'm wrong. If this has been the work for this whole time, like, I tip my hat. Really good job. Really freaking good job. So, yeah, I thought it was really good. You know what? I just realized something that I need to clear up. All right, I'll get back to AEW Dynamite as I look in the screen here, and I see the fact that you notice that I have bare walls. I know my background hasn't been great. I get that. It's stuff that has to be improved upon. I want to go ahead and let you guys know we had to do some room improvements, right? So everything is down, and we might not be putting things back up for maybe a very, very long while. So bear with me with my bare bones studio. We call this Studio RR, Studio Rhino's room. And that's the way it is. And, when you're selling your house, you got to do things that you got to do. So that's why we're dealing with this. But, hey, guys, you're here for me, not for my freaking wrestling shirts or my Tom Brady shirts, right? or maybe you are here for my wrestling shirts. If you are, let me know and tell me how fucking impressed you are, right? The other thing is, if you got extra wrestling shirts you want to give me, anyone out there, I'm a size extra large. Make it happen. All right. So that's the story with the house. Now back to the wrestling. Okay. And again, I want to say MJF has brought back the devil. I really like that. The idea of walking out. You see, you talk about Hangman having those little things like taking the wallet and the keys out. Same thing with MJF as he walks out with just a bloody rag, kind of wipes his hands off, throws the rag down. Like, that is such good storytelling. Now, as soon as he walked out, I immediately looked at my wife and I said, he's beat the hell out of Christopher Daniels backstage. What do you want to bet? And of course, she said, "Who's Christopher Daniels?" And then I just kept watching Dynamite. Um, but regardless, like, it's exactly what happened, which, I mean, that's not like it's a huge prediction or anything. It's pretty obvious in my opinion, but I'm patting myself. I'm Barry Horowitz in regardless. So I love that. It's two very small little things, small little minuscule parts of this story that helps it progress. And guys, that's storytelling 101. It isn't always about the fight. It's about what happens inside the fight, right? And I cannot wait for these two to link up. And to be honest with you, I won't be surprised if after Revolution, which we got Revolution coming up next weekend, right, on Sunday, but after Revolution, I wouldn't be surprised if this keeps going, especially if in the near future we could get gold around one of them. And I'm not even saying it has to be the championship belt, maybe a TNT belt, maybe it's the international belt. I don't know. I don't know how we're gonna head. Although I will say at Revolution, I'm not going to be surprised to see some belt swapping going on. I have a feeling we're going to get some and news. So anyway, I love this story that we got going with MJF and Hangman Page. I thought it was absolutely spot on. And you know what? They're building with it. They're growing with it. And AEW, freaking great job. Great job. I love it. Absolutely. Keep up the good work, right? That brings me to the next match. And honestly, going into it, I didn't really understand, and I kind of pubbed it a little bit prior with the Brian Keith versus Will Ospreay. I figured it out. I should have. I mean, they called it a bounty match, and I even said beforehand, "What the fuck is a bounty match?" I didn't really know. Okay, now we know Brian Keith, the bounty hunter, although I like Bad Apple better. But the bounty hunter was back, and he was there to collect the bounty on Will Ospreay, which had been handed down by Don Callis. Now, I want to go ahead and say the match was freaking great. All right, now I know these dudes have gone before. You can totally tell they got good chemistry. I really like that. The most impressive part of that match was when the high knee that Brian Keith delivered. He might have been during a hidden blade attempt, maybe even. But that high knee that Brian Keith delivered to Ospreay and the way Ospreay sold that was a hard hitting moment of that match. So again, I really liked the match. And once I figured out what the bounty part was, like, it made total sense. Now, let's build off of that because we saw Jericho and he's like collecting the bounty or whatever, but the real question is Don, why not get Big Bill to do it? Like, if you're going to get a member of the learning tree, like, I understand that Brian Keith is the bounty hunter, or he was the bounty hunter, but you think he's going to have a chance to really knock a peg down on Will Ospreay? No, Big Bill would, right? Even if Ospreay beats Big Bill's gonna beat the piss out of him for 15 minutes. So, like, I don't know. Maybe do we continue with this? I'm holding judgment, right? I'm gonna totally withhold judgment. Next week, if there's another bounty match and we have Will Ospreay going up against Big Bill, and then we've got story progression, right? And the whole idea is trying to soften up Ospreay before the cage match with Kyle Fletcher at Revolution. Imagine that. A yawn. Oh well. So yeah, I thought it was really good. Matter of fact, I'm totally fine with it. Now, that brings me to our final match. I'm gonna jump around a little bit here, but we had a number one contenders match for the tag match, or for the tag titles rather. Winner gets to take it all. I liked the story progression that we had last week, where we know we're going to get the Outrunners versus the Murder Hawk Machines, or the Murder Machines, and the winner's going to take on the Hurt Syndicate at Revolution. Um, I honestly thought that we were truly building towards a Brian Cage, Lance Archer battle with Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley. I thought, like, these are two monsters. These are dudes that match up well against Lashley. It kind of leads credibility to Lashley and the Hurt Syndicate. They didn't win. Like, they lost. Now again, it's not clean completely. Hurt Syndicate comes out. They distract the Murder Machines. Brian Cage nowhere to really be found at that point in time. Um, and then the Outrunners go over. Now, first things first, I love the Outrunners. You know, I'm a wrestling traditionalist, and I understand that there is such a role for these guys. And honestly, the Outrunners run this role as good as anyone. They're a great babyface tag team. They're good with comics. By the way, did you see them on Sports Center? The Outrunners were on Sports Center, like pumping up the University of Omaha's basketball team. I think that's who it was. I think Omaha. Anyway, you may say, "Hey, that's not even a college." Um, Regardless, though, it was pretty cool to see the Outrunners on freaking TV on Sports Center. That's kind of taking wrestling out amongst the people, right? So yeah, I mean, I'm not disappointed that they won, but let's be honest. Outrunners are now going to take on the Hurt Syndicate for the tag team titles. They are now the number one contenders. Do they really have any opportunity to win this match? I mean, do they have a chance? I don't know. And maybe I'm wrong, but I just think the setup is wrong. I think that, like, why not, even if you don't want the Murder Machines to progress here, why not, like, have a double count out, something like that to maybe progress the story? Maybe you end up getting a triple threat tag match that makes more sense. Because I just don't think, and I love the Outrunners, man. Turbo Floyd, you son of a bitch. Like, I am huge with that. But are they going to beat the Hurt Syndicate? I freaking hope so. You guys know my feelings on Lashley. I hope so. But I honestly don't know. I don't see it happening. I really don't. So, like, I don't know. I think we missed there. So this was like my biggest down. The other part that I was down on with this match is, where was Don Callis? Like, we know he's there. So now all of a sudden you're not going to even associate with the Murder Machines? Like, I don't like the fact that Callis is not a true manager. He only manages when he wants to. He's basically an extra play-by-play guy when his people are, which I'm good. He does great on commentary. But I think of a manager like Bobby the Brain Heenan. I think of Paul Heyman. I think of Jim Cornette. I think of Slick, right? Jimmy freaking Hart, Classy Freddie Blassie, Mr. Fuji. Like, I think of these guys. I don't think of Callis. I just don't. And he's a great heel. His character is so good. But, like, they're part of your family, meaning the Murder Machines, Brian Cage and Lance Archer. They're part of the Don Callis family. They're in a number one contenders match. They win this match, and they're going to face the champions. They're going to have a shot at the title. You manage this crew. They're part of your family. You're not coming out with them. You're not even going to be on commentary. Like, you were nowhere to be seen. And I don't understand it. I don't, because then you see the Hurt Syndicate. They come out along MVP, Lashley, and Benjamin. They come out. They just are a distraction. You mean to tell me that Callis couldn't have maybe done the same type of thing or offer that same type of thing for the Murder Machines? I just don't know. If you're a heel tag team, you have a manager. That manager needs to be a part of the gimmick. It just does. That's how I look at it. And if not, like, why are we wasting our time? Let Lance Archer and Brian Cage go out on their own. Although I think them having a manager is a good thing. Although, with that said, Lance Archer on the mic is good, except for everybody dies. Like, other than that, we're fine. I can do without it. But Callis not being there didn't work for me. It didn't make sense to me. So we had some other pieces. I love the Mercedes piece backstage. I don't know if you guys saw that. Had the little interaction with Billy Starks. If you don't know much about Billy Starks, she's one of the best young up and coming female wrestlers out there, and she has a protege. Or a mentor, rather. She is the protege. Her mentor is Athena, the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. And guys, Athena right now is the best women's wrestler that you don't know. Now, if you know her, tip of the hat to you, right? She's been undefeated for, like, I don't know, 900 years, it seems like. She's held this Ring of Honor women's title for a very, very long time. So what I think we're getting with Mercedes knocking Billy Stark's water out of her hand or whatever, I think we are finally getting close to a Mercedes Moné versus Athena match. And I know Athena posted on the Twitter machine later on, like, basically, what the hell just happened? So I think that's where we're going. I know that we had Momo there at the end. That's who Mercedes is going to take on at Revolution for the title. That's not going to stick. She'll be back in Japan in no time, I would assume. But the Athena thing can stick. So maybe we're growing. Maybe we're progressing. So I'm good with that. Mercedes is gold right now. Let's get her past Momo and let's see if we can't develop this Athena thing a little bit. By the way, give her Billy Starks. Give you guys a chance to see Billy Starks in the ring too. We had some other in-ring stuff. Swerve and Ricochet, I liked it. I mean, it wasn't bad. Swerve very aggressive. Nana saying he'll quit if he doesn't get his robe back. Like, it's a decent story. I think the story's been good. Didn't really care for Ricochet's part of the monologue, and I've been better with him lately. But I thought his part of that was not as good. What else did we have? We had a 6-man tag match: FTR and Daniel Garcia versus the Undisputed Kingdom. Undisputed Kingdom goes over. The one thing I want to say, what we set up on this more so than anything, had nothing to do with trios, which I even said that when I previewed Dynamite. I said, I don't understand the connection here. Why FTR and Daniel Garcia all of a sudden when they had been battling the old Appreciation Society? Where are we going with this? I assume it's a quick win, or a tough win, I should say, for the Kingdom, and then they go on to take on the trios champions and the Death Riders. Obviously, we're not getting that. Okay, because what we are going to get is the TNT Championship being defended on Collision against Adam Cole with Daniel Garcia. Now, that's going to be a hell of a match. And I'm going to say this again. Freaking Adam Cole looked phenomenal once again. All right. He looks like his time in his back. He looks like the Adam Cole of old as far as in ring. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean, I know he's getting older, but he doesn't look old. But I thought they're really starting to get something back with Adam Cole. The real question is matching him up with Daniel Garcia a good thing? And who goes over there? Like, who's going to be your winner of that? I don't know. I think that could go a lot of different ways. To be honest with you, I think Adam Cole is better with a belt on, and I think Daniel Garcia's run has been a little underwhelming. Not to any discredit of him. Uh, Maybe if Garcia goes over here, he beats Adam Cole. This is the spark that can really get the Daniel Garcia run together. I'm tired of seeing Daniel Garcia being thrust into tag matches and not defending that belt. That's a mid belt. Like, we know, it's like almost a version of like the Intercontinental belt or the US Championship. Like, that belt is supposed to be defended almost every time we're on TV, if not every other time we're on TV. So defend the damn belt. And who it's against is fine. If Adam Cole goes over, I won't be surprised. I don't know. I think it could go a couple different ways. We had some Cope issues, right? We had some Cope stuff. Cope is going to go on and take out Claudio Castagnoli, ends up getting a little extra. By the way, the beginning of the show with Cope pulling up in the ambulance, basically saying, I'm bringing y'all here. This is what's going to happen. And he did that. I was a little surprised, though, that it was Claudio that got taken out before Wheeler Yuta. Like, that worked. And I was also surprised to see Marina take a freaking stray bullet, right? The flying knee from Wheeler Yuta connects with Maria Shafir, and it knocked the shit out of her. And then everybody thought, oh my gosh, double concerto. He's going to bust up Claudio, meaning Cope, Edge. And then is he going to hit Marina Shafir? Is he going to hit the woman with a concerto? And then boom, Willow's freaking music hits. Willow Nightingale comes down and she says, I want in on this action. Now, in order to get there, it took a great performance by Jay White, just basically taking anybody out that he wants to take out, and Moxley not coming over that railing to try to make any more saves. He did save Yuta, which I kind of thought was weird, considered Yuta has been like his whipping boy. But regardless, he did save Yuta, and that kind of works. Now we have Collision for Yuta to go out. Now, once that happens, the Death Riders have been pretty much neutralized, with the exception of John Moxley. So, with that said, like, I truly think that at Revolution next week that we're going to get a Cope over Moxley. I think we're going to get a new champion. Now, I may change my mind. I'm not setting that in stone, not a laminated thing by any means, but won't be surprised if it happens. So overall, guys, I love this show, and that gets me to the main event. I told you I was looking forward to the main event for the match, not looking forward to it for the story because the story didn't make any sense to me. I got exactly what I wanted. The match was 100% outstanding. Um, I don't do stars. We only do grades. I'm grading that a freaking A minus all day long. That was an absolutely outstanding match. Orange Cassidy is a master of his craft, and Takeshita is just getting better and better and better. Now, with this said, Takeshita goes over. We knew this was going to happen. There was no way in hell Orange Cassidy was winning this match. The only thing that could have happened is that could have come down to a time limit draw or disqualification, and then Tony turns it into a triple threat. Thank God we didn't get that. We are going to get Kenny Omega versus Takeshita for the international title. I think they should put the New Japan Strong title on the line too. Let's do both of them at Revolution. And guys, this is going to steal the show. It's not going to be the main event. I promise you, Cope and Mox are going to be the main event. But whoever goes on after Kenny Omega and Takeshita, good luck to you. So, yeah, super night. I graded the Dynamite show a B plus. That is 3 B pluses in a row for Dynamite. So, my AEW card is looking pretty solid right now. But so is my TNA card. Guys, we're not going to spend a ton of time talking on TNA because I do want to preview a little bit of SmackDown, even though we don't have a lot on it. But how we started the freaking show off on TNA Impact was outstanding. By the way, I graded TNA a B plus as well. But we start off with the system in the ring. They know they're going to need some backup. They want some more people involved here. They kind of went after Leon Slater. That didn't turn out too well. Then we saw the Colognes, right? Orlando and Enrique, maybe, is that right? Anyway, they're the Colognes, Carlito's people, right? Carlos Cologne's people, and they basically, in a roundabout way, joined the system. Moose even said, I like these guys. I like these guys. So they joined the system. So you knew they were going to get involved. Now, are they going to be full-time members or not? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know if it works, but okay. I'm okay with it. Let's see how it goes. The system growing is not an awful thing, especially since they've been taking some hits lately. So we had them open it up. They're talking shit about everybody else in the world, and especially that main event that they're going to have a little later on with the Hardys and Obafemi. So backstage, we had some Leon Slater stuff. He gets into it with the system. It was okay. They're building on that story. But then that gets us to the surprise, right? We knew Mike Santana was going to be in action. I assumed it was going to be a squash match. Was not assuming it was going to be Ora Mensa from NXT. Ora hasn't went in a long time either. And it was really good to see him go because he's talented. Lack of size hurts him a little bit, but still, really good in the ring. I think he's grown a lot. One of the more improved guys that we've seen in NXT. And he came in, and it was a decent match. Mike Santana beat the piss out of him. And we knew that was going to happen, but we are setting up something very special right now with Mike Santana and Mustafa Ali. Santana goes over, he gets backstage, and he's met by my main man, John Skyler, and the crew of Mustafa Ali's campaign cabinet, right? I've heard him called the campaign. I've heard him called the cabinet. So I'm going to go with campaign cabinet. All right. They're the CC. John Skyler hits him off. Jason Hotch is there. What is it? Tasha Steele is there. And then it's great. It's absolutely great. No Mustafa Ali. He didn't have to be there to progress that story. We didn't need it. Skyler took care of the whole damn thing, which still, I've said it before. If you don't know John Skyler, you're missing out on one of the best damn workers in all of professional wrestling that you haven't heard of, right? And if you have heard of him, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, yeah, I really liked that piece. I love the fact that we're building off Mike Santana and Mustafa Ali. I think they're two of the hottest guys going right now. All right. The stuff that they're putting out is great. This is the best stuff that Mustafa Ali has ever done, and easily the best stuff that Santana has ever done. And the way they're making this really real world, talking about the alcoholism, talking about the overcoming struggles, and then adding more struggle, like, my God, is there anything more real than that? Like, keep it coming. Keep it coming. I can't wait to see where this goes. I have a feeling we'll be getting this at Sacrifice, right? As that card is starting to shape up a little bit as well. We had a squash match for Tessa. She went over pretty heavy. And then we go backstage. Masha is scouting the hell out of Tessa. She probably should have been watching her back because Cora Jade, NXT's Cora Jade, come and beat the shit out of her. So we're setting up that Cora Jade Masha match for Sacrifice. It is going to be really good. But I'm going to say this. Cora, you're biting off a little bit more than you can chew. I don't know if you've ever seen the stuff that Masha does, but let's turn it into a death match and see what happens, right? Because I just think you're biting off a little more than you can chew. So I'm good with that. What else do we have? Oh, backstage. Joe Hendry and Elijah. This was like such a good, honest piece, a good, honest like interview slash promo segment where Elijah's like, I like what you do, man. By the way, Elijah's freaking awesome. That is Elias, if you're familiar with his work in WWE. Oh, walk with Elijah. Oh, that's such good stuff. And when he plays it on the guitar with it, so good. But Elijah's saying he wants to be a part of Joe Hendry. He loves the thing, loves the attitude. And Henry's like, all right, you can be good. What we did last week was good, but I'm not going to be a fool. I know it's only a matter of time before you wrap that guitar around my head and you try to take this belt from me. That's what a champion is supposed to do. I can trust you a little bit, but I'm not going to trust you completely because I know I have something that everyone freaking wants. So, like, I think that that's something really, really cool to look forward to as we move forward. But I'm loving this Elijah Joe Hendry thing, and you guys already know what I feel about Joe Hendry. So keep it coming, right? Steve Macklin went over Casey Navarro. Not a whole lot there. Hated that we didn't get more AJ Francis involvement in this match. I could actually like to see an AJ Francis versus Steve Macklin match, but we're not going to get that because we had Northern Armory again. Eric Young and his little peons. The Northern Armory, they basically tried to distract Macklin. It doesn't work. Macklin runs right through them. Good match. Good work with Macklin, too. I like this character work he's doing. I know it's kind of the same as what he's always done, but adding this new intensity to it while looking over his back shoulder for Eric Young is really, really fun. So I like that. Spitfire, they beat Ash and Heather by elegance. They make them become their concierge for 24 hours. We saw a little bit of that. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. Hopefully we'll get a lot more tape on that next week. Should be pretty cool. What else do we have? Oh, I was looking so forward to Mance Warner versus Sami Callihan. All we got was them beating the piss out of each other. The bell never even rang. However, we're going to get it at Sacrifice, and it is going to be a street fight, and it is going to be freaking nasty, and I cannot wait. Give me Mance Warner versus Sami Callihan in a hardcore match every day of the week if we can. The main event, guys, Kaz went over Ace Austin. I hate that I can't talk about that, but we're running out of time. Main event, Hardys and Oba go, they fall here, right? We have some struggle here. System's going to come out on board, but the best part about it was the end. You get all of these people, the system, the Colognes, everybody squaring off against the Hardys, Obafemi, and then boom, Joe Hendry and Elijah show up. All right. So what ended up building out of this was something so special, and that's Jeff Hardy versus Moose for the X Division Championship. If you can't get behind that at Sacrifice, I don't know what to tell you. And you guys know I'm so big on Jeff Hardy right now. He's doing such great things, and I'm so proud that I'm a Hardy fan. I'm so proud that Jeff's doing what he's doing, and I hope he takes this belt off of him. No more so than so we can get Moose out of there and doing something even bigger, and that's what needs to happen. So great job, TNA. B plus. Yeah, keep it up. TNA on fire still right now, selling out every week too. So good. So we got a couple minutes left, guys. I want to look at SmackDown real quick for tonight. Again, not a whole lot has been revealed on what we're going to get. And you know it's a 3-hour show, so we're going to get a shit ton. We know Trish is going to be there with Tiffy. It's in Toronto, right? Trish is home. So we got that. Cody is going to be there. We'll probably get a little bit of Cody Rock lead in. I don't think Rock will be there tonight, but I might be surprised. I don't think he'll be there tonight. I think we'll get a little bit more kind of a roundabout with Cody, not really a declaration of any sort. We do have a U.S. title match, right? On both sides. For the women, we have Chelsea. Chelsea Green's going to take on a mystery opponent. That could be interesting. Not sure what direction we'll go with that. And then we have Shinsuke Nakamura taking on LA Knight. A rematch that we've seen a couple times. They're good dance partners. Let's see what happens. Not going to be surprised if LA Knight takes that belt back tonight. All right, it very well could happen. Shinsuke had a pretty big personal loss today. his mentor fell. Check out the dirt sheets. Check out PWI if you want to see more on that. So, guys, looking forward to SmackDown tonight. It's going to be a good night. Super looking forward to Elimination Chamber tomorrow. I will join you tomorrow afternoon on our Saturday short. I will preview and predict everything with Elimination Chamber. I will also recap what we got going on tonight in SmackDown. Let's hope it's not as long of a 3 hours this week. That's all I can say. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. So huge night tonight. Huge weekend moving forward. And speaking of moving, look at all this shit. So there you go. Guys, thank you for joining me. You know I'm loving the hell out of this. So keep listening, keep liking, keep subscribing, keep share more, guys. Share my stuff. That'd be really cool. And at least like it. It only costs you a click. It's all it costs you. So thank you very much for everything. This has been the Slow Burn Pro Wrestling Podcast, where all professional wrestling storylines live. As always, I am your host, Matt Brandon, and in this world, we're wrestling everything. So stay on top.